Hello and welcome to Let's Play 2 2013. This is 2K and this is the TCW Experiment, Episode 1. I'm going to be going back to the Cornellverse, which we haven't done a little bit on the channel. I think last time was SWF when I was trying to do a Dynasty, and it didn't really work out because I don't have time to write and record and everything. But you don't care about that. You care about what's currently going on. TCW. So we're going back here, and I'm going to try and book TCW, a company that I usually suck at. I'm not very good with TCW. They come with a lot of problems to start and a lot of expectations. So I've heard a lot of people say they are a pretty easy company to run, but I've never quite gotten the hang of it. So I wanted to get in there, roll my sleeves up, and get it done. And not in my normal way of booking them, but taking a lot of cues from the way myself and Swarley have been booking New Japan in that series. So not full pure Resu. It's not going to just turn this TCW company into New Japan light, but take a lot of cues from that in keeping the right people's momentum going, using multi-man tags in order to keep things rocking and rolling, stuff like that. I am going to be doing a lot of setup, so the first 2 episodes will be setup. So if you're not into that, you can skip on to episode 3 and get right into the booking. But for now, I do want to go for it, and hopefully episode 3 will actually be booking. But I want to give you a heads up of who's on the roster, because I haven't done Cornellverse in a while, and some of you newer fans may not know the characters. So let's go in, and I'll try and give you a synopsis of, the main events and upper mid-carders, and any other people I feel have some importance. We'll start off with Brian Vesey. He's a very good wrestler. One of the best on the roster. The issue is he became a star in Japan, and in fact became, I believe, a champion over there. If not, he was in that company where he could easily become a champion. And he never became a champion. Okay. He came to the U.S. About 4 years ago in this save, and he has had a big head, and he believes he's the superstar, and he's always politically trying to keep himself at the top, and he's just overall very difficult to work with, especially with the problems that TCW has, which we'll go over a little bit next episode. But he may not be in the company for very long. Just saying. Joey Minnesota is one that I usually equate to Randy Orton. Much more skilled Randy Orton, but Randy Orton. He's young, he's talented, he connects with the crowd, but at the same time he is an asshole backstage. So we're talking like 2008, 2007 Randy Orton, where it was sort of notorious that he was treating people like dirt backstage. He has a lot of upside, but at the same time, it's very difficult for me to push him, knowing that he is an egomaniac, essentially. So we'll see how that goes. RDJ, Ricky Dale Johnson, backbone of TCW, Texas Brawler. He is easily the oldest one in our main event scene. He's been a babyface since, 2005 or earlier, so 8 years he's been a face. He is just kind of synonymous with the company, almost as much as Cornell is. So you have to keep him near the top. He can't put on as good of a match as some of the other people, but I mean, he's Ricky Dale Johnson. You have to keep him near the top, I guess. Rocky Golden, I equate to it's difficult. He has massive star quality, and it is incredibly easy to have put on good matches with other good wrestlers. But at the same time, if he's facing someone who isn't great, his matches aren't great. So perhaps a lot of Cena there, just not as good on the mic. I guess that would be it. Like Cena without some of the mic skills. Tommy Cornell. Some people might joke that the TCW stands for Tommy Cornell Wrestling. He's the owner. He is the man. He is the best wrestler in the world by far. Like, not even a question in this universe. It is called the Cornellverse for a reason. He's only 34, and in terms of storyline, he is already a mentor character to young Wolf Hawkins. So we'll get to that in a second, but his mentor relationship is going to have a lot to do with how we move forward. Troy Tornado is a rough one for me to book. He always ends up that upper mid-card main eventer who just kind of tweens back and forth between those two. Reminds me a lot of Christian in that regard. And he's a really good wrestler. Really good in the ring. But just never quite good enough to make it to the top. And finally, the champ, Wolf Hawkins. A lot of Seth Rollins in this character. Although he was made before Seth was, a champion and all that stuff. He's the champ. He has the older mentor who is one of the most hated heels in the company. He's one of the better wrestlers in the company, but he's working heel. Just pretty solid worker to hold the belt. He will probably hold it for a good amount of time. Nope, wrong button. So our upper card, Benny Benson, flippy wrestler. He's big on flashiness. That's kind of his best thing. But he's got some hidden mat skills that get drowned out by his athleticism and his flashiness. I don't know a good comparison. I guess like a Austin Aries or something where they're good, but they have many different facets to their game. He is sort of being drowned out by all the other skill in the company, but that may change based on how I plan on doing things. Danny Fonzarelli, not really great at anything. He's just upper mid-carder because he got a goofy character and it was a hit. I treat him a lot like I treat The Miz in that I'm going to keep him over because I love him for no reason. He's a great character and someone I always push. Expect him to turn heel and turn back into a goth character eventually. Eddie Peak. I view him as TCW's Kane. He is a hardcore worker at his core, but since joining TCW, he's become more of a brawler because TCW doesn't do much hardcore stuff. And he works well as a heel and will probably be brought in to help Wolf Hawkins, much like Kane's brought in to help Seth Rollins. Oh my goodness. John Anderson is a very good wrestler who has had injury issues and is a part of a very good tag team with Brent Hill. We're going to move on. Joshua Taylor is an American worker who went to work in Japan and became very good for doing so. I see him a lot like a Carl Anderson. He's having trouble getting over in TCW, which I would equate to his microphone and charisma not being great and only having a B- in star quality. But the opportunity is there, and he could be a good replacement for Vesey if Vesey does indeed leave. Koshiro Ino is a Japanese wrestler working abroad to try and get... he's basically doing the excursion thing where he's in America on an excursion. It's just that he's been on excursion since 2007, so this has been a 6-year excursion. He's just a cog in the machine. He's good, not great. I don't expect him to be anything more than good, not great. Rick Law, very good at the basics of wrestling. He's a brawler, but nothing outstanding about him. He's working an evil cop gimmick, so there is that. And for the mid-carders and such not, who I feel are important, you got Brent Hill, who I previously spoke about. Guide and Scout are two workers who make up the New Wave, which is a very good face tag team, perhaps one of the best tag teams in the world. They have had a lot of success in TCW and will hopefully continue that success, as I see them being the linchpin of the tag division that I wish to build up again. And Sammy Bach, who is sort of the Dolph Ziggler of TCW in that he's a very good worker who has all the tools, the star quality, but never can quite get over. And no one really knows why. And now he's getting to be that age where it's now or never. And I'm going to treat it that way because it is very now or never. And he is he's playing a rock star type character. We'll see if that changes or not. Now, we have to book towards one of the biggest pay-per-views in TCW, which is Malice in Wonderland. One of the big three with Total Mayhem and Summer Showdown. Malice in Wonderland should see some big matches and some big rivalries ending. We start, in terms of storyline, with 3. We'll be adding more next episode, but Joey Minnesota versus Rick Law, which will be ended at the Malice in Wonderland pay-per-view. Rocky Golden versus Wolf Hawkins, and that's going to be a big match, title match here, where the final rematch from September to now, all led up to this Malice in Wonderland cage match, which would be, I guess, Malice in the cell. And oh, that was terrible. And Rocky's going to be facing Wolf in that cell. And then here you got Vesey and RDJ, 2 big brawlers for the number 1 contendership. So that, assuming Vesey makes it to Malice, that'll also be on Malice in Wonderland. So that is all for now. We will be back in episode 2 with more about how I plan to change the company and what I'm going to do moving forward. Thanks for watching and have a good one.